All right, hello. We're going to talk a little bit about EPCAL here because there's some news about EPCAL that I want to talk about. News 12 did a story about this. There are petitioners out there trying to stop this sweetheart land deal in Calverton that includes environmentally sensitive land. And News 12 actually did a great job covering this. They spent over 2 minutes on it. So it says here, petitioners are urging the town of Riverhead to not include environmentally sensitive land in the Enterprise Park sale at Calverton. The former Grumman site has been the topic of intense debate over the years. Many residents are pushing back against a plan to sell the land to a developer, saying it's a sweetheart deal that will hurt taxpayers. Initially, the plan was to sell 600 acres of the property to a group called Calverton Out Aviation and Technology for $40 million. The agreement then changed, and another 1,050 acres was added to the deal for the same price. Some residents say there are two major problems with that addition: the low price tag and that the land is environmentally sensitive and should be left as is. A petition with around 1,600 signatures is asking the town board to remove the extra 1,050 acres from the deal. William Van Helmond, who is president of the Jamesport Civic Association and running for town council, said the land should be preserved. We'd like to see it as it is so the species can live here, he says. We would not want to see a building right here where you are walking, like around Brooklyn or somewhere in the city. And you can watch the story. They'll show you the area. We've seen how beautiful it is, obviously. And there's another article here that I want to read to you on the same thing. So petitioners urge the town to not include environmentally sensitive acres in EPCAL sales. This is from the Riverhead News Review. Almost 1,300 signatures have been gathered in an online poll urging the Riverhead Town Board not to include 1,050 acres of environmentally sensitive land at the Enterprise Park at Calverton in a sale to Calverton Aviation and Technology. In addition to the signatures, 16 environmental and civic associations have also signed on to the petition, according to Christine Hawkins of Calverton, who stated the effort was one of several speakers on the topic at Wednesday night's 4-hour Riverhead Town Board meeting. The 1,050 acres were not included in the town's original plans to sell the property for $40 million, as town officials said at the time that only about 600 acres of land at EPCAL were developable. But then, when Supervisor Sean Walter, remember Sean Walter? What a scumbag he was. Well, he announced plans to sell the EPCAL land to Lumen Airspace in 2017 and threw in an extra 1,050 acres and the developable 600 developable acres. Sorry, it's a tongue twister, for the same $40 million. We can all agree on welcoming meaningful job development within an appropriate scope that still allows for quality of life on Long Island and the East End, the petition reads. However, we are joining together to make it known that we are against the inclusion of the 1,050 acres within the current potential sale at EPCAL. New York State's 2016 Open Space Conservation Plan also calls for the preservation of 800 acres of Calverton grasslands, including the 565 acres at EPCAL, comprising the largest continuous grassland habitat on Long Island and one of the most significant in the state. Calverton Aviation and Technology, which is under contract to buy the 1,643 acres of land from the town for $40 million, is scheduled to meet with the town board in a public work session at 10 a.m. on Thursday, October 17th. That already happened, to discuss their plans. To date, it is not clear what CAT's plans for the property are. The sale cannot be completed unless an 8-lot subdivision separating the 3 lots CAT seeks to purchase from the 8 acres the town will keep. The subdivision requires town planning board approval, but also approvals from the state and county. However, when the town planned to sell the land initially, it was proposing a 50-lot subdivision, but now is only proposing 8 mostly large lots, 3 of which would be sold. A letter signed by the Greater Calverton Civic Association, Wading River Civic Association, Riverhead Neighborhood Preservation Coalition, and Greater Jamesport Civic Association questions the legality of that change and of the town's review of the proposal. We have watched the recent subdivision process mystified by the amount of unanswered questions, says Takui Turchin, the president of the Greater Calverton Civic Association. Ms. Turchin said the town is engaged in a segmented review of the subdivision, which is in violation of state environmental regulations that require plans for the entire property to be studied at once. This means you are trying to break a project up into different component parts so that the magnitude of individual impacts, as well as cumulative impacts, is not made part of the review. It is our contention that because you are now doing the subdivision to facilitate a specific development proposal, you are required by law to do a supplemental SEQRA, that is a State Environmental Quality Review Act, review on the potential impacts of the totality of the action. She said that the town must do a full review of the plans because the subdivision is adopted. Earlier this year, Frank Isler, the outside counsel hired by the town to review the EPCAL subdivision, said the full impacts of whatever development takes place cannot be reviewed until an actual plan is submitted, and that the State Department of Environmental Conservation cannot determine how much development can take place at the site until an actual project is submitted. You are purposely restricting our knowledge of the probable development of the property and its impact by deferring the review and therefore our ability to know if we are being harmed by these actions, Ms. Turchon said. She also added that it should be easy to do a supplemental review because there is already a conceptual development plan that CAT submitted to the DEC earlier this year, showing 10 million square feet of development along the runways at EPCAL. That plan was not made public until former councilwoman Barbara Blas discovered it. Now that it is election time, we want you to know that we plan to hold everyone accountable, Ms. Turchin said. Tonight, we urge all voters to stand with us and demand the town board do the right thing. We are not going to stand by while we are being sold out. The town board last year declared CAT to be a qualified and eligible sponsor to buy the EPCAL land and development. The vote, however, was split along party lines, with the board's 3 Republicans in favor and its 2 Democrats, including Supervisor Laura Jen Smith, opposed. So we know how beautiful this area is. You've been looking at pictures of it while I've been reading this article. And, you know, this is an area that should be preserved. The development should be confined to only the areas that have already had development on it when it was growing. The rest of us, the grasslands, the beautiful Pine Barrens, should be left alone, should be preserved. And that's the bottom line, and I'm glad residents are speaking up about it. Hopefully we can stop this. On the News 12 video, they said that, you can watch the video, the link is below, but I believe they said that, well, we can't change the agreement now. Yes, they can change the agreement, and they must change the agreement. In fact, we can just throw the whole agreement out the window and make most of it a preserve, which is what I would do if I was running Riverhead. We can't afford to lose any more Pine Barrens. We can't afford to lose any more grasslands. Our natural beauty is priceless, worth more than anything, and we must do everything we can to preserve it. So I want to thank you for watching this video, and take care.